MMXLII, the power of diversity.
I don't really find, I don't find anything taboo. There's nothing that I won't talk about. People would accuse me of being really cocky and sometimes coming off like misogynistic and just an asshole sometimes. And here's the thing, and what a lot of people don't realize is that what I do in my videos, I mean, that's me, you know, but it's like a turned up, exaggerated part of me because I feel like people aren't used to seeing an aggressive, sexual, perverted, like outspoken Asian dude. And I feel like in certain ways I kind of have to play the villain for what I'm trying to do. When you think of what's the most like sexually desired race, right? You think of like, okay, girls always go to like, there's like the big dick black guy, right? And you know, there's been years, I feel like, just so many stereotypical roles of like the pimp or like this super sexual, deep voice black dude, you know, big dick, steal your chick. This whole thing where, you know, people have this image now. It's like a proverbial dick, you know what I'm saying? And it just represents so much, like it represents like confidence and you know, getting girls and like just that whole manly vibe. And I feel like it's more difficult for Asian guys because our stereotype is that we got the little dicks, you know what I'm saying? It's like complete opposite, you know? So I feel like I have to work harder to show people, hey man, you know, I can get girls and I can satisfy your chick as well as the guy with the giant black penis, you know? I had a lot of black friends growing up. Maybe that's part of the reason why I'm so confident, you know? Because a lot of Asian guys are like, man, like, how are you so confident, you know? And I just kind of, I mean, that's kind of always how I was, you know? One of my biggest influences growing up was like the Fresh Prince. You know, this guy's funny like me and you know, he doesn't care when he just talks to girls like any way he wants, you know? And that was like that kind of like molded how I would like talk to girls and just kind of how I lived my life actually, you know, because like the Fresh Prince character he didn't care about what other people thought, you know, and that's kind of the message I try to send to a lot of these kids as well, is like, you know, it's just everything's so much easier when you just don't care about what other people have to say, you know? It gets difficult when people take me too literally, you know what I'm saying? What they don't realize is as a comedian, I'm also saying stuff that I want people to think. To the point where, you know, I might even like argue a point or say something I don't even necessarily believe, you know what I'm saying? I like people to look at things differently, and the way I do it gets people angry sometimes. Margaret Cho had a sitcom like a long time ago on ABC, and it was so funny, but what ended up happening to that show is that the Asian community actually got so offended by little things. Like they were mad that it was like, it was a Japanese guy playing a Korean girl's dad, and they were saying the stuff in the background wasn't authentic Asian stuff, and it was just so stupid, you know? Like I was like, why can't you guys just be happy that there's an Asian girl on TV, you know? And I was like, and it ended up causing the downfall of the show, and I always kind of thought back to that too when I would be doing my comedy. Stereotypes like will always be there, you know, and you know, and I think, you know, it's funny that they're there. I like stereotypes. At face value, my videos would be all dick jokes and, you know, vagina jokes, and but it's really, you know, there's really, you know, there's a moral there. And every time a girl hits me up on Twitter and she's like, you know what, I wanted to try dating an Asian guy because of your videos, or I never found Asian guys attractive until I started watching your videos, or you know, that I'm doing my job, you know, I'm getting it done one girl at a time. What up? This is Timothy DeLaGhetto. Shout out to MMXLII, the power of diversity. Diversity all day. mixed babies. Let's all just have babies with each other until we're the same color.
MMXLII.